Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Heartbeat of Care, the podcast where we have real, heartfelt conversations about caregiving, connection, and community. I am your host, Kerin Zuger, the COO of CareTech, and today's episode is one that speaks to the very core of what we do, giving caregivers the support that they need. And if you've ever felt overwhelmed while caring for a loved one, and if you've ever wondered how you'll make it from one week to the next week, or shoot, just from one day or 1 hour to the next hour, or one sleepless night to the next sleepless night, you're not alone. This is definitely a great episode for you to tune into. Today, we are going to talk about respite care, what it really looks like, how it works, and the incredible impact that it can have on a caregiver's mental well-being, emotional well-being, and physical well-being. All that said, I'm honored to be joined by two amazing advocates today. First, Georgia, am I going to say this right? Ryba, or is it Reba?
Ryba.
Ryba. Okay. Georgia Ryba, who brings both personal and professional expertise to the table. She's a working caregiver, a fierce advocate, and Nebraska's Respite Employer Engagement Coordinator. Georgia, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, hi, I'm Georgia. I hail from Plattsmouth, Nebraska, but I'm in Omaha now, and I am a full-time working caregiver. I have a daughter who is, just about to turn 10 on Labor Day. She has autism spectrum disorder and a genetic condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which affects the connective tissues in the body. And I've been working in caregiver advocacy for about 3 to 5 years now. Everything changed when she got her diagnosis.
Oh,
So,
sure.
I now spend my time trying to advocate for change for caregivers like myself.
Yeah. And you are part of the team at Monroe Meyer Institute too?
Yes, I am. I've been with MMI for almost 5 years now. My background is in education, public education. I have actually a music education degree from UNO.
Cool.
And did some education at the Omaha Zoo. Worked for nonprofits for most of my career, and right now I am on my last year of my master's for public administration. So juggling work and caregiving and a master's degree.
Yeah, you're busy. Yeah, awesome, but fulfilling. I mean, I feel
Very much so.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then also with us is Michelle Tinnis. How bad did I do on that one?
Perfect.
Perfect.
No,
Yes.
you did great.
Awesome. Tell us about yourself, Michelle.
From also public education, I was a teacher and school counselor for 29 years and recently retired that and kind of moved into the next step. And this is where I landed.
So what ages were you? Was it all ages when you were in education?
I was pre-K through sixth grade.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so quite a range.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you didn't get them once they hit middle school, which I feel like I don't know how those teachers do. Like, oh boy. Yeah.
I often, handed them off gracefully.
Yes. That's awesome. All right, cool. And you've got a ton of knowledge, I know, about the Life Expand Respite program and how it works, and have clearly a deep passion for all of it. So I'm excited to learn more about that. And yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay, well, let's just kick things off by starting with the basics. So, either of you want to answer this. I'm sure you both can. But when we hear the term respite care, what does that mean? I mean, what does that look like in real life? What's respite care?
Do you want me to jump in on that one?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So respite at its most basic form is a temporary break. It is just a temporary break for that unpaid family caregiver to go and recharge their batteries. But it looks different for everybody because we all recharge our batteries in different ways. Some of us might be more extroverted and find joy and kind of that energy recharging from being out and about, socializing and seeing our friends. And going shopping. And some of us might be much more introverted. And for us, our batteries recharge by being at home and reading a book and being quiet. And then sometimes respite can be in the home or it can be out in the community too. So there's really not one size of respite that fits everybody, but the core of it being it is a break for that family caregiver so that they can remember there is life outside of caregiving. You are an individual, you're a person, you have hobbies, you have likes, you have needs, and go and take care of yourself while someone else is taking care of your loved one.
And, on that note, I guess I'm curious. So care tech is, for the most part, I shouldn't say totally, but for the most part, we're non-medical care. Is respite non-medical support, the caregivers that come in? I had a call just the other day and the gentleman was exhausted and I was like, oh man, it sounds like you need some respite. But he had a really complex, his wife, was sick and had some really complex conditions. And I was like, well, I don't know that that falls under respite.
It totally depends.
Okay.
Respite can be found through many different avenues here in the state of Nebraska. We have our program, which is the Nebraska Lifespan Respite Network. But individuals who have either intermediate level of care or nursing home level of care needs, so high medical needs, can get respite through Medicaid waivers. So it really depends on the individual. There are some individuals who do not have high medical needs that can have a respite provider, but there are avenues for individuals who have very high medical needs, maybe tracheotomies,
Yes.
breathing tubes, feeding tubes, things like that, to also receive respite. It just depends on which avenue we go through, which is why we have respite coordinators across the state to help each family find the right avenue for them.
Awesome. Okay, that's good to know. So when we're talking specifically about the Nebraska Lifespan Respite Program, Michelle, maybe you want to tackle this one. Can you tell us how that program works, what it offers, and why it's such an important resource?
Sure. Kind of like what Georgia said, we do offer that break. That's what I consider respite, that break, whatever that looks like for a person to kind of let them kind of recharge their battery.
Mhm.
So with Lifespan Respite, it is actually funded by a subsidy from DHHS. And so if a person applies for that or fills out the application and is approved for that subsidy, then they can receive those funds each month to get respite for their caregiver. So the funds are actually awarded to give that caregiver a break, and they can bill it so many different ways. We have some caregivers who use it for swim lessons. We have some caregivers who use it for an individual to come into their house. We have some caregivers who use it for other things. So it kind of just depends on their needs on how they bill it also, because it can be billed directly through the state or they can prepay and then get reimbursed, which isn't as common, but it does happen.
Okay. Okay. So then so you go through state to see if you qualify, is that right?
Mhm.
What does that look like? So what are the qualifications to get this type of a service?
So our income threshold is 312% of what is considered the poverty line.
Okay.
And it is kind of on a grading scale based on how many individuals you have in your household. But it looks at your gross monthly income versus the number of people you have in your household. And if it's within that 312% of the poverty line, we can get you onto the subsidy. Our application is set up in a way that says if you are already on Medicaid health insurance or SNAP benefits, skip to the end because we know that you will qualify for our program. Our program has a higher threshold than most others, so you do not have to be on Medicaid health insurance or SNAP benefits to qualify for it. It's again based on individual income. So again, that regional coordinator comes in really handy to help each individual family kind of find if their assets put them within the category.
Yeah. That's nice. And it's, from our perspective, so we do a ton with DHHS. So I would say a large population of our clientele are Medicaid, but we also have that group that is, we call it that gray area. They're just in that
Mhm.
middle where they don't qualify for the, Medicaid, but they also don't have the personal resources and funding to be able to have somebody come in so that they can get that break. So we've used, respite programs like yours. Lifespan is a great resource to sort of help those folks out that are, quite there from a Medicaid standpoint. So it's just another tool. But if they are on Medicaid, can you double dip? Can you be on Medicaid and get waiver services that offer respite and lifespan?
So, to be on a home and community based service Medicaid waiver here in the state of Nebraska, you automatically get Medicaid health insurance as part of your overall compensation for being on that waiver. So, the waiver entails both the medical side with Medicaid health insurance and then the home and community based services side, which can be supplemental for things like respite and vocational services, rehabilitation services, support with maybe ACC device needs or home modifications or things like that. So if you're on a waiver, that individual will have Medicaid health insurance regardless of their income.
Okay. Okay, got it.
You are waiving, well, it's called a waiver for kind of two reasons. You're waiving your right to be institutionalized, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
All of our programs through the DHHS, whether it's a waiver or respite, uh, is to keep the families together in their homes.
Yes.
But you're also waiving that requirement of that income level for Medicaid health insurance because your needs for your health, your disability, whatever it might be, are high enough that you would qualify for that waiver. So they're going to waive that income requirement for the
Got it.
Medicaid insurance. Um, yeah, it's a little complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's okay, right? Because if there's questions
Yeah,
about it, they just call you, or if, like,
absolutely.
who helps clarify all this? Because it is complex. I mean, gosh, all the different things and, so how do they get in contact with you guys, or is that the best way to get their questions answered?
Yeah, we have a 1-866 number that will ping a cell tower because our program is statewide. So from the Panhandle all the way to Omaha and everything in between. If you
Awesome.
call 1-866 Respite, you will get connected with one of the 6 regional coordinators.
Awesome.
We're all kind of split up. They split the state into 6 different regions based on population. So Michelle runs Douglas and Sarpy County. So if you're in Douglas and Sarpy County, you'll end up speaking with Michelle, but maybe you live in Cherry County, you're going to end up speaking with our Northern Respite region. And rural and urban areas have very different needs as well. So each regional coordinator is really an expert in their area. But I like what you said about the gray area because I think our program, and not just Nebraska Lifespan Respite Network, but the other programs through the DHHS, which are called the special healthcare programs, are really to fill in the gap for that gray area. There are a lot of individuals out there who might have a disability or a health concern or a physical limitation that affects their daily life and requires them to have care, but it's not considered extreme enough for them to qualify for something like a Medicaid waiver, but
Right.
they still need supports and services. So those special healthcare programs for the DHHS, and that would be our lifespan respite program,
Yeah.
disabled persons program, medically handicapped, genetically handicapped, those help fill in those gray areas.
Yep. I know. We love it all the time. And we try to, pull that tool out of our toolbox regularly when you're walking through, the journey that each individual's on and trying to figure out what are the different resources that are out there. And I mean, it just these type of services you see, the impact that it makes. And you, Georgia, I mean, obviously this is personal to you. Do you have a story that you could share about how this has impacted people somebody that you've worked with or yourself or just anything that would resonate with the audience?
Absolutely. It's kind of hard for me to even pin down a story.
Yeah.
I So I utilize respite, but I am one of those families that's in like the super gray area because my income doesn't qualify me for DHHS programs. And my daughter is doing quite well. So we are still working on possibly getting her onto a Medicaid waiver.
Mhm.
So I utilize friends and family for respite, which I know most of us do. There's so many of us out there who aren't on any sort of subsidized respite program, and we just lean on our loved ones
Yep.
to help us get through the day, get through the week.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why we continue to advocate for a little bit of grace in our work lives with our personal lives. I'm a huge advocate for things like flexible work schedules and some hybrid work schedules. And I will continue to advocate for any type of paid family leave. FMLA does have its restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's so many of us out there who, like I said, aren't on these subsidized programs, but still really need a break. And so having a little bit of flexibility in your job or having a good support system in your family or your faith or organization community to just kind of help you juggle all that we're asked for. Because I really do feel like caregiving is the great equalizer. Everybody on this planet will have some form of caregiving need or responsibility. The only difference is the amount of resources that we have to help us with those responsibilities or those needs. And so getting the word out that there are services and supports and then advocating for even more. That's all we can really do.
Yeah, I mean, it was and, I'm on Facebook all the time, I know I'm guilty of it. But I had an interesting discussion with somebody the other day. I have a great you too, I'm very blessed to have my mom 10 minutes away, sisters down the road, and have the resources, and so out of joy, I post, and it's like, "Oh, my family was here to help me with this," or with, my brothers or my kids, I've got 2 kids, and it's like, "Oh." So people see that, and then somebody had said to me in a conversation, "Gosh, you seem, so blessed, and God, it's so lucky." And I look at your photos, and I just think, God, I wish I had people around me, to be able to help me with my kids because I'm exhausted all the time and I don't have that family. And I was like, it sort of broke my heart because I do it not to gloat, but just I love the memories and I love my family, and it's, you do it out of joy and excitement. But it was a sort of a gut punch to go, "Oh, yeah, not everybody has that. Not
Yeah,
everybody has those resources and that support, that I am so lucky to have." And so that's why I do. It's like there are resources, and we have to get the word out that there are resources and opportunities and people to help, people that are
yes,
lucky as you and I to have that friends and family support.
exactly. And a very unique aspect of Douglas and Sarpy County is that we have a very high military
Mhm.
presence.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if you are military, you've moved around a lot, you may not have family in this area. So things like knowing that there are programs out there for respite, but also support groups, care coordination programs through places like the Monroe Meyer Institute, just help kind of build a community if you don't already have one with you.
Right. And that's why too, I think partnerships with you guys like CareTech and other home care organizations too, should reach out to you guys because I think it's a great opportunity to sort of work together to build that community, have the court or the caregivers available so that when you guys do have the needs, you've got a wide, deep bench of people that you can sort of pull from to help out. So I think it's been a great partnership from that standpoint as well.
We have a network of trained providers. We screen them, we background check them. They can provide care to anywhere in the state. So we have that network of providers ready to go. If you don't have that village around
Yeah.
you, you're more than welcome to have a loved one or someone you know become a provider. We will help with that as well. But we do have that network of providers who are ready to go if you don't have anybody in mind uh, for your respite needs.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this has been I mean, I feel like I always pick something up even, at every conversation that I have, and I have really appreciated your knowledge and your insight, and, again, the 866 respite is the best way to get in contact with you or one of the coordinators that's across the entire state of Nebraska
Yeah.
that like and covers, which is also unique because I think there's other respite programs, but they're county or city specific.
Mhm.
So Lifespan we love because CareTech too covers the entire state. So it's a resource that's available to anybody that lives within Nebraska. So 866 Respite is the best way to get a hold of you guys and sort of get the process started. But thank you so much. It's such a beautiful reminder, of how important it is and that caregivers do deserve care, self-care, and
Right.
they deserve a break. And this is a great opportunity to do that.
That there is no guilt, no shame in saying, I need a break.
Yes, exactly. I love
No shame in that. Not at all. You become a better person and a better caregiver when you get a break.
That's so true. That's so true. If you're exhausted all the time, you're not caregiving, that's the thing is it's not just good for you, it's good for your family member or loved one that you're taking care of because then they get the best version of you when you get back. So I think
Yes.
um,
And caregiving can be such a long game. Many of us care for our loved ones for years, decades. You got to pace yourself.
yeah, right. With all things, right? Hey,
For a long time.
Yeah,
You're going to be a caregiver for quite a while. You need those breaks.
totally. Well, awesome. Again, if you are looking to explore respite options, 866 Respite. You can also call CareTech. We can direct you as well, caretechinc.com or at 402 697 5121. For any new listeners, make sure that you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube so you never miss a story or a great partnership or a different resource and opportunity to change your life or the life of somebody that you love. But until next time, make sure that you are taking care of yourself and making sure that you're taking care of each other. Take care.